Hi there, welcome to Nonsense Whisky. My name's VinPF, and on today's episode we're going to be covering another Summerton Club bottling. This one was the December bottling, picked it up from Summerton. Every 2 months I give them £50 of my hard-earned money and they send me a bottle of something. You've seen a couple of them on the channel so far, so if you haven't seen those ones you can go and check them out if you want to see some kind of like real life bottlings, let's say. They usually send me something that's just been bought from another distillery. This is a little bit different because it's their own whiskey, made in collaboration with the Whiskey Baron, as you can see here. Whiskey Baron is an independent bottler and they've had a few select bottles go out so far. You can go and check them out at whiskeybaron.co.uk. And they'll also do kind of bespoke bottling situations just like this. Now, the interesting one about this is that they sent a note with it, longer than usual, and they detail the fact that they almost had it nailed down, and then the last bottling that came out, which was the McMira Skogs Halon, and that kind of sent their subscriber rate through the roof. So they had to change it around a little bit, and now we've got a blend of two whiskies. I'm pretty sure they were probably going to do something, maybe like a single cask vibe, but we got a blend of two instead. Now on the front, it just says our exclusive blend of two Scotch malt whiskies finished in fresh Oloroso octaves. That's it. That's all that's on there. Really nice. I think that's kind of like the epitome of a no-nonsense whiskey, right? It's obviously got the ABV as well. This one's a monster, 57.4%. But they do tell us what is in it. Plop that down there so you can have a look at the label while I'm talking. It's a 8-year Glenfarclas, which has been aged in an ex-bourbon barrel, and it's mixed with a 5-year Benriach, and that is ex-sherry butts. And then what they've done is they've married those two together in ex-Oloroso octaves, a bit larger. So they haven't said exactly how many months that is, but I'll wager it's probably sort of 2 or 3 months, something like that. That's designed to kind of bring it all together, make it all kind of mix nicely. Ethanol and water is mainly missable anyway, but to get the flavours to really bond, they've mixed it in with these Oloroso things as well. Now, when I saw this was what I was going to be getting, that's alarm bells to me, because as you, the eagle-eyed viewers, will know, I suffer from the sulphur bug. And when I hear things like Oloroso, ex-sherry and things like that, not all of them are kind of sulphured for me, but they are sometimes. So I've been avoiding them really recently. So I thought, well, it is what it is. We'll get it. And if I don't like it, I don't like it. It's just one of those things. As you can see, I've pretty much liked this one so far. I've shared this out with a few people that haven't been able to try it, and people have been loving it so far. Considering it's technically a 5-year-old whiskey, 5 years and 8 years, minimum of which now are 5, I think it's really robust and really well made. Let's get into the actual tasting itself and see what we've got, shall we? See if it was worth the 50 quid I paid for it. I think you can probably guarantee that it would be. Now on the nose, it's definitely sherried, but it isn't that kind of like sherry bomb nature. Like a great example would be the Glenfarclas 105. Sherry bomb. This isn't the kind of same nose as that. Side by side, I think it would fit in quite nicely with the Glenfarclas family though. I have to say I don't think I'd pick it out of blind tasting unless I really knew that it was there. But it would sit nicely with the rest of the family. Lots more dried fruits, the kind of sherry notes that you'd be expecting to get. There is some elements that betray its youth a little bit. It's kind of a little bit malty, a little bit straw-like. And there's a vegetal nature to it that I think may well be the same kind of notes that lead me to sulphur eventually, but it's not high enough in there for it to kind of register on my nose. An inviting nose doesn't really betray its ABV, so I think you'd be surprised about it if you didn't know what it was. Let's try on the palate. So there's a multitude of sensations going on there. First thing that happens is you get that kind of sherry sweetness, those dried fruits coming through. Again, slight sherry notes, not the sherry bomb. When we talk about sherry bomb, the best way of saying it is that Glenfarclas 105. If you've tried that, you know what I mean. It's that explosion of fruits. It's not quite that overstated. It's very understated in comparison. That's not a bad thing. I do like the Glenfarclas 105, but it's not an everyday occasion dram. You have to be really in the mood for it. Same as peat, to be fair. Love peat at the moment, but I do have to be in the mood for it. Once that sweetness has disappeared, if it does disappear, it's brown sugar all the way through. But the high ABV, that's when that really starts to kick in. Just before you're about to swallow, that's really the amount of flavour you're going to get, because you can't hold it on your tongue for too long, especially if you're not used to the high ABV stuff. I do love some high ABV. When I saw this was 57.4%, very excited about that. Once that high ABV starts dying down, more of those brown sugars are coming through, dried fruits are coming back again, and you're getting those kind of apples, which is something I was very surprised I didn't get on the nose. Not very appley, orchardy vibes at all, which is usual I get from Spacesides, but maybe the ABV is seeing that off. Finish is kind of medium to medium long. It's not overly long, not overly short. Sweet at the start. Tends to sour out a bit towards the back end, but again, that's not a bad note. It just depends on what kind of mood you're in that day. Now for me, you guys know I've been covering a lot of these Summerton Club things. I've been exceptionally impressed with what I've been sent. Sometimes I have to say, like with the Hatazaki, for instance, it's something I never would have bought myself. I'm glad I got to try it. I don't think I would go out and buy another one again, especially for the same price. But that's the value of the club, is that they're sending me stuff that I am probably avoiding unintentionally and shouldn't be. You know, need to try these things. This especially, it brought the Whiskey Baron onto my radar. Something I'll definitely be looking at in the future. Something I think you should be looking at. I know that the Summerton Club deliver to most of Europe. If you're interested and you're one of my European watchers and you're interested in clubs like this, I think it's a little bit more expensive for you, but then it's going to be, isn't it? Because it's Scotch and we've got to send it over abroad. There you go. If you've liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button below. Let me know what you thought about it. It's a shame that you guys probably won't get to try this because it's limited to the Summerton Club. I think they had a few extra bottles, but again, they were a bit more expensive, maybe £60. Not sure I'd want to spend too much more on this. I'm happy with the £50 that I've spent because I've got a very high ABV one, but this is one that I'll now put in the back of my cabinet, see what happens over the next 6 months when this starts to air out a little bit, and maybe it'll change up. We don't know. There you go. That's another Summerton Club. I'll see you again on another Nonsense Whisky video, and I'll see you again on a Summerton video in about 2 months' time.